Imagine you are hungry and X app delivers food for $15 in 10 minutes, whereas Y app charges $25 to deliver the same food in 30 minutes. Which one would you choose? Obviously the first option, right? When you are getting the same service for much faster and cheaper, why would you pay more, right? Hello and welcome to a new video of the Polynomial Academy, a series where we will discuss the most important crypto trading and DeFi concepts. While selecting where to order food was an obvious choice, in crypto trading we frequently find ourselves paying more for less in a similar situation. But here's the one thing where you might be doing less and gaining more. Subscribing to this channel because we will keep bringing important crypto concepts for you. With that out of the way, let's get started. Think of it this way, every time you transact on a layer 1 blockchain, you order from the expensive and slower app instead of the faster and cheaper one that is layer 2. But let's take a step back here to answer. What are layer 1s and layer 2s? Layer 1 is a base level network which can operate independently, whereas layer 2 networks are built on top of other layer 1s and help extend their capabilities. For example, Ethereum is a layer 1 blockchain, whereas Optimism is a layer 2 solution built on top of it. But here's a scenario. In May 2022, when the Ethereum network became congested, the transaction fees reached $196. Imagine paying nearly $200 for a single trade when your typical profits are just $10. It's a nightmare that would make DEX trading completely unfeasible. This is where layer 2s come in. They don't compete with the layer 1s, but instead help them by taking off some of their load. They may be compared to express lanes for highways, which help you travel to your destination faster. Similar to how express lanes would offload some of the traffic from the highway lanes, layer 2s offload some of the transactions from layer 1s and process them off-chain. Layer 2s mainly have two objectives: improving scalability of the layer 1 blockchains and reducing transaction fees. Layer 1s usually have very low transaction processing speeds. For example, Ethereum network processes around 15 to 45 transactions per second, while the Bitcoin network is even slower at just 3 to 7 transactions per second. Layer 2s relieve congestion from layer 1s by processing some transactions on their own network, just like express lanes reduce traffic on the highways by diverting some vehicles to them. And since layer 2s are built to process a lot more transactions than layer 1s, the transaction processing speed goes up significantly. For example, Optimism can handle up to 2000 transactions per second. Now, layer 2s group the transactions after processing them. So instead of sending every transaction detail to the main chain, layer 2s group 10, 20 or even 50 transactions into one and send them together. This reduces the amount of space they consume on the main chain and thus reduces the transaction fees. While Optimism currently charges 0.1 GUI per transaction, Ethereum charges about 12 GUI. Nearly all popular layer 1s encounter scalability issues and numerous layer 2s are actively working to address this problem. Ethereum has hundreds of layer 2s such as Polygon, Arbitrum, Optimism and more. The Lightning network on Bitcoin is its most popular layer 2 solution. Each of these layer 2 solutions use different methods to achieve faster transaction speed at a lower cost. Now, are you wondering how can you start using layer 2 networks yourself? The answer is bridging. Bridging simply means transferring your crypto from one blockchain to the other. Since most tokens are issued on layer 1s, bridging is a prerequisite for transacting on layer 2s. Bridging can be either done via an integrated bridge or an external bridge. An integrated bridge or a native bridge is built directly into the layer 2 solution, for example, Optimism Gateway. It is part of the core Optimism infrastructure. On the other hand, an external bridge is a third-party tool that is not related to any single layer 2 solution, and it helps bridge multiple layer 2s. For example, ChainSafe's Nitro Bridge. To understand this better, let's take a look at the process of bridging assets to Optimism for activities like trading on Polynomial. Firstly, you can head on to the Optimism Gateway homepage for initiating the transaction and log into your wallet. You then need to specify the amount and type of assets that you want to bridge and then initiate the transaction on the Optimism Gateway. After this, your assets will go through the bridging process, which involves transaction confirmation on both layer 1 and layer 2 chains. Once this process is complete, your assets will be available in your layer 2 wallet, which can then be connected to Polynomial for trading. So now when someone asks you if you would use Ethereum or Optimism to transact, I hope you will have your answer ready. But there are a lot of other answers that you need to be ready with if you want to become an expert trader. We are building this Polynomial Academy series to ensure that you're ready with all these answers and a lot more. So subscribe and press that bell icon to avoid missing out on other useful videos. I'll see you in the next one.